Um, my little brother and I was sleeping in the back, and my parents were both in front. And all of a sudden, I just felt like I'm being shaken, like I'm in a bottle and I'm being shaken, like roughly. But I'm such a deep sleeper, I just thought it was a dream or something. And I totally didn't see until I was woken up. And hola mi amore, ¿cómo estás? Welcome back to my channel, guys. If you are new to this channel, where have you been? If you're a returning subscriber, hey, how are you? I'm good. So, on today's video, I am going to be talking about the obvious that's on my title. I'm going to be talking about how we found out that my aunt was bewitching us, right? So, in the story, key points. Like I said in my previous story time, this is what do you call this? Today, this is a fiction. This is fiction. It's not a true story, but I will have to admit in today's story, a few parts of the story are going to be true. I'm not too sure if I should let you know which parts are true, which parts are not, but maybe I should leave you guys to that mystery. But some of the parts in the story are going to be true, right? So without any further ado, let's just get right into this video. While I curl my hair, I'm aware, very much aware, that I need a new closure. So please don't be in my comments telling me that my closure is old. This hair is from 2016, okay? So yeah, let's just get into the video and then we will see what happens with my aunt. Okay, right. So just some basics of the story. This was back in 2000 I need a brush. Oh, this sucks. I need a brush. I forgot that I need a brush. Oof. Okay, so like I already said, this was back in, if you're a hair enthusiast, please don't be telling me that, hey, you're not supposed to comb your hair, blah blah blah. This was back in my grade 9 year. I was 15 years old, living with my family, and we had a peaceful life. You know, I'm looking that side because there's a mirror that side. We had like a peaceful life, you understand? We had a normal life, man. It was myself, my parents, and my little brother, right? So we were a family of 4, 1 girl, 1 boy, and just in the beginning of the year, my aunt told my mom that she had some financial problems and that she needed a place to stay. Okay, so my mom was okay with it. My mom was okay with her coming to stay with us, but my dad on the other side was just like, you know, the drama that gets involved with like family living with family, and it just gets complicated, right? People steal each other's husbands or whatever. And then, but my dad wasn't worried about that, right? But he was just worried about any kind of drama that was just going to occur, you understand? Okay, so my aunt came, fast forward, my aunt came to live with us, and she came with her daughter, my sister. So now there was 6 of us in the house, and it was fine in the beginning. You know, our life was like pretty much routine. Was like we had a routine, and my aunt knew this. My aunt knew that I'd be at school, my little brother would be at school, and so would my sister. My parents would also be at work, right? Okay, cool. So I really can't multitask, it's annoying. Okay, so there just came a time when things like, okay, I like to give you some context. my aunt would do everything for us. She would cook for us. She like kind of felt obligated to do all those things because she couldn't help out financially in the house. So she would just want to clean, she would want to cook, she would want to do our laundry. She would literally just want to do everything for everyone. You know what I mean? Okay, cool. So, she did everything for us, and she literally had the whole day. She had the whole day to herself because all of us would be at school, and then all three kids would be at school, and the folks of the house would be at work, right? So she had the whole day to herself to do whatever nonsense that she was up to doing. You understand? Okay, so um, she would do everything for us, like I already mentioned. I really, really cannot multitask, but also I can't get over this hair. What do you mean, yo? Yo, what? 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 Why? 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 Ooh. Okay, let me focus and be serious. So she do everything for us, right? And then there came a time when things started becoming weird at home, right? Things started becoming weird. Like my marks were starting to drop. Like I don't want to say at home with my marks dropping, but you'll understand why I'm saying at home. My marks started to drop, and like I would feel fatigued all the time. I would just be tired all the time. And then my aunt, like, she had the nerve to ask me if I was pregnant. And then I was like, no, like, I'm only 15, I'm a virgin. And then she said, that's what Jesus thought too. And then I'm thinking, this woman, what does she mean? I'm not pregnant, you know? And then, so my mom took me to the doctor, and like the doctor prescribed some pills for the concentration part of my life, and then he also prescribed some pills for the fatigue, right? Sharp. And then, like, the reason why I say things became weird at home was the fact that my parents were starting to fight a lot, which was weird behavior because I'd never seen my parents fight. Like, it was weird behavior. I was like cringing the whole time, and I was thinking, what are these people doing? Are they actually like fighting? Are they yelling at each other right now? And I'm thinking, these people are weird. What are they doing? But they would fight all the time, and like it just became so nonsensical. Like it was just such nonsense. I don't know if nonsensical is a word, but you'll just have to figure that out, boo boo. So like they would just fight all the time, you understand? They would fight all the time, like over petty shit, and like they would fight over some petty stuff that I did not understand. Okay, so then like the other problem that followed was the fact that my mom would, like this other day we went to Potch, and like we live in Clarksville, so the fact that we live in Clarksville and Potch is like not so far away from, did I say Clarksville or Potch? The two are not far from each other, right? So my mom, like she started to fall asleep during the day while she was driving, and it was just something we thought, okay, maybe she's exhausted, maybe it's work strain, you know, she's always driving, so she's tired. But it didn't make sense, you understand? It didn't make sense. So then like there was a weekend where we had to go to Limpopo, and then for a weekend, like it was a long weekend, and then we had to go, like this is where things became cringy, this is where things became hectic. And now like it was 10 out of 10 now. The witchcraft was 10 out of 10, to be honest, or 9 out of 10 if I may say. So we had to go to Limpopo. All of us had to leave, but then my aunt insisted that my little sister stays, saying that no, she had to visit her father. Her father wanted to see her. Her father's always busy, so we don't know when they'll get another chance to see each other, so it can't be that long weekend, right? My dad was like, no, it can always be another weekend, like we need to leave together. And then she was just like, nah, that's not gonna happen. She really needs to go and see her dad. Her dad, her dad wants her to visit, right? I'm like, okay, cool. So I don't know anything. I just want to leave, right? And I want us to leave with my sister, but her mom doesn't want her to leave. So at the end of the day, it's her mom's decision. So then the matter is settled. My little sister's gonna stay behind, and then my dad says, okay, then only the five of us will leave. And then my aunt is like, no, I don't want to leave. I prefer to look after the house. You know how thieves are. Kadi long holiday, kadi long weekend. Like they'll be breaking into people's homes and all of that. So my dad is like, no, ridiculous. Ridiculous. Don't be ridiculous. We have an alarm system in the house and they'll come flying should anything happen. So like you can't be now setlhabelo sa rona mo tlung and then people have to find you here. Why should people find you here, you know? Your safety matters. We can always replace furniture and everything like that, but we can't replace your life, you understand? So my aunt was like really insistent and she said no. Also she like we know that Luago's dad can, Luago's my little sister. She said no, we know Luago's dad can be like very disappointing. So just in case disappoints Loago, then she wants to be there so that she can go and fetch Loago and then they can spend the rest of the weekend together should he disappoint her. You understand? Like, should he bring her back or something like that? You understand? Okay, cool. My dad eventually gave in and then my dad is like, okay, but like we really need to go this weekend because I can't do any other weekend to go to Limpopo, right? Okay. We pack our stuff, we leave, and on the way my parents are just like, you know, we like, I don't feel, my mom is like, I don't feel safe with my sister staying behind. It's not safe like for her to stay alone, blah blah blah, there's no man in the house, blah blah blah. And then my dad is also saying the same thing, that yeah, you know, like we really shouldn't have left them behind, but what were we gonna do because I don't have any other weekend to go to Limpopo, right? Okay, fine. So what my parents usually do, or what my parents usually did and still do, if we have like long trips that we need to travel, then they'll take turns driving, right? So and I'm within the tens now because I have a driver's license. Good. So my dad drove from Clarksdorp and he drove for half of the trip, right? And then my mom took the car for the other half of the trip, right? So fun. By now you know that we've already covered half the trip, right? Okay, cool. So my little brother and I were sleeping in the back and my parents were both in front, and all of a sudden I just felt like I'm being shaken, like I'm in a bottle and I'm being shaken like roughly. But I'm such a deep sleeper, I just thought it was a dream or something. And I totally didn't see until I was woken up and people said to me, hey, you've been involved in a car accident. And I was thinking, what happened? How could I have not heard that I was in the middle of an accident? So the car had rolled with us multiple times and we were okay. Like we had to recover, we were sent to hospital, we had to recover for some time, but eventually we were okay. And with every appointment, like checkup appointment to the doctor, then they would say, this has got to be a miracle. Our car was just sure. Okay, so a write-off to start. Like it was a write-off, a complete write-off. There was no saving that car. So time goes by and we go to Pick and Pay with my mom to do some grocery and like just pick up a few things, you know, like it's just a normal day. So when we are at Pick and Pay, my heart is actually beating right now, like actually beating. So when we get to Pick and Pay, this random, very random lady like taps my mom on the shoulder and she asks her, have you been involved in a car accident, like a tragic car accident? And then my mom says it happened a while ago, but yes, we were involved in a car accident with my family. So this lady says, you should have died in that car accident. All of you should have died in that car accident. You are in more danger than you have ever been before. I am just astonished and my jaw dropped, and it felt like the whole store was empty and the world and the earth had stopped rotating, and I just wasn't understanding what was going on. I was so confused. I kind of understood because, I mean, you're 15 to 16 and you are hearing all of these things. Like, you're not smart, but you understand a couple of things. You understand a couple of things concerning spirituality and how things happen in the spiritual world and blah blah blah, and the concept of poloi has been introduced to you already. So she continues to say, and this was just the worst. My mom like always describes it as a nightmare, and she said, your sister doesn't love you. I know that you want to see the very best in her, but she does not love you. Ha. And then she continued to say, and this was the last thing that she said. Oh, my hair. I'm trying not to be sad about it. And this was the last thing that she said. You are going to start to need English. You're going to need to start listening to your conscience instead of your heart before your whole family dies. And that was literally the last thing that she said before she left. We don't even run off to her because we are still so astonished, and like there isn't a point where we like say, hey, let's take your numbers, let's talk more, because we're just like, baby, we're just like, what the hell just happened? So yeah, that's how we found out that my aunt was bewitching us. And from that time on, she had to move out. My mom never told her that she knew what was going on, but my mom did say that she had her own thoughts about it, but she just didn't want to believe them, because as a person you are given a conscience, and she just didn't want to believe it, that the one person that she was giving everything to, love, everything, warmth, everything, and she was giving this both to her and her daughter, like she just didn't and couldn't believe that this was the person who did that to her. So I guess the lesson that should be learned from the story today. Oh, my aunt is still very much alive, thank you for asking. I think the lesson that we need to learn from this is that you should, number one, trust your conscience. If you're getting awkward vibes, don't think you're being awkward. If the vibes are awkward, then they're awkward. You understand? And another thing that I can say you should take from the story is the fact that you mustn't be that girl, you mustn't be that guy who thinks that they deserve everything in life and that just because they don't have the things that other people have, the world owes them something. The world doesn't owe you anything. The world doesn't owe you anything. You need to work hard for what you want. You need to work hard for the things that you want. You need to work hard for the things that you need, because life doesn't just give things on a silver platter for some people. Some people are offered things on a silver platter, but some aren't. You need to do your best with what you have, and that might sound like it's coming from a privileged place, but work with what you have. If you don't have something, make it, and then you work with it, because now you have it. But don't be bitter and being envious and having this deeply rooted jealousy for people, whether they've done something to you or they haven't done something to you. So yeah, that's what you can take from the story today. Just work hard in life and cancel envy in your heart, cancel jealousy in your heart, and trust your conscience. Trust your conscience. If your conscience is telling you that something is off, you better trust it's off. I think particularly as a woman, I think we are more inclined to have a stronger conscience. Like you just have that thing. I think we're like more inclined to have a stronger conscience, and so just trust it. And thank you very much for watching this video. I really hope you did enjoy this video. I hope you enjoyed the story, and I hope that you took something from it. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel and click that notification button so that you can get a notification every time I post. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.